Hi everyone, thanks for dropping by my YouTube channel today, where I'm doing final tests on Scott's Breckwell brand pellet stove controller. As you can see, this is an older model. Scott sent it to me because he had a couple of issues with it feeding pellets and driving the motors correctly. I received it, had a hard look at it, and came up with a few things that needed to be corrected. First, the original 5-volt regulator was running quite hot, so I replaced it with a newer one, and I also added a heatsink to it. Second, I found a lot of the solder connections were old and worn, so I reflowed a lot of them, but that proved to be more difficult than I expected, so I had to remove some of the components, clean off the leads since they had some sort of corrosion on them, reinstalled them, and now everything seems to be functioning correctly. Prior to me receiving this, Scott had replaced the rheostat behind the control face. I also replaced the switch and the LED. Both of those gave me a lot of frustration and I had enough of it. So off they went, I put new ones in place. Since completing all of those updates, the controller seems to run quite well. So now it's time to go ahead and test it. As you can see, I have the controller connected to my tester, and my tester is made up of a few items. Firstly, we see the two-part controller that belongs to Scott. On this faceplate, there's also an auger motor, an actual auger motor, mounted behind it. The shaft comes out the front, and I have a decal on it that will spin when the controller calls for the auger to drive. You'll also hear the motor in the video. At the rear, I have a number of light bulbs that simulate different features of your stove, but with this controller, only two of them will come to play. The combustion one, marked in blue, and the one that simulates the auger, marked in yellow. Those are the only two accessories that this controller will operate. We're now at the point where I can turn on the controller. When I do that, we'll see one light come on. The combustion fan light will come on. It'll be on dim, so it won't be at maximum intensity even though the control knob is set to maximum. Let's go ahead and do that, and there we see that. So that combustion fan will stay in that mode for about 15 or 18 minutes before turning itself off if we do not call for heat. And then the controller will stay in standby. To set the controller to automatic mode, we need to press this auger switch, and when I do that, a couple things will happen. First, the green light will come on in the front panel to tell us we're in automatic mode. Then the intensity of the combustion fan will go up, and we may or may not get an initial cycle of the auger motor. So let's go ahead and do that. And we did not get an initial cycle. So now we have to wait approximately 20 seconds before the auger spins for the first time. And when it does, it'll spin to maximum, which means that's the longest time that it can spin since I'm at maximum over here with the display. There it is, that was the first cycle. We'll let that go for one more cycle, and then we'll shut it down. There it is. So Scott, it looks like your controller is fully functional once again. It's fairly robust. I've done a lot of testing on it. I've done a lot of pounding on it to make sure that there's nothing loose on the circuit board. I've replaced 3 components on it. I've also replaced the switches and the LED just to bring it up to date a bit. So it's run fairly well for me for at least 5 days. I had it on my tester here just running non-stop. So I expect when you receive it, it'll function correctly for you as well. Let me go ahead and turn that off. I do want to thank you for sending me this controller. I appreciate it very much. And for all you viewers, if you have a controller of your own that needs repair, whether it's a Breckwell, USSC, Quadrifire, or any other brand, I'd be more than happy to speak to you about it. My contact information can be found in the video description below this video. Scott, I want to thank you again. I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up, and everyone, please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that very much. Thanks. Bye-bye.